In this video, pag-uusapan natin yung mga behavior ng bawat function na nagiging dahilan kung bakit ang limit ay hindi nag-exist. So let's start with number 1, different right and left behavior. So ang ibig sabihin nito, kapag kinuha mo yung behavior ng function as x approaches to a certain value, yung left side niya, yung behavior ng nasa left side ay iba doon sa behavior ng nasa right side. Okay? So nangyari na to sa example natin last time, yung naging reason kaya hindi nag-exist yung ating limit. But magbibigay ako sa inyo ng example para maintindihan natin. So for example, let's have the heavy side step function. We have h of x equals 1 if x is greater than or equal to 0, 0 if x is less than 0. So kung i-graph natin yan, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Okay, kung natatandaan nyo pa yung paraan ng pag-graph ng piecewise function. So for 1, tuldok kasi naka or equal yan. So eto yon. Then papunta sa right side, horizontal line yan kasi constant to, tapos constant din to kaya horizontal din, pero eto circle siya na papunta sa left side. Okay, then kung titignan natin yung behavior ng function, let's say i-approach natin yung x natin sa 0. So tignan natin yung mga values na nag-approach sa 0 from the left side and from the right side. So let's say sa left side muna tayo. So as x approaches 0 from the left side, so tignan natin yung behavior ng function. Okay? Kapag nag-approach yung x sa left side, saan nagpa-approach yung behavior ng function? Nag-approach sa 0. Okay? So as x approaches 0, yung h of x natin nag-approach sa 0. But kung titignan natin yung right side niya, kung titignan natin yung values ng x from the right side na nag-a-approach sa 0, yung behavior ng function saan nag-a-approach yung values ng h of x. So nag-a-approach na siya sa 1. Okay? So as x approaches 0 from the right side, yung values ng function nag-a-approach sa 1. So yung h of x approaches 1. And as you can see, magkaibang values ina-approach ng h of x from the left side and from the right side. So yan yung gustong sabihin ng ating number 1 behavior. So magkaiba yung ina-approach ng h of x from the left side and from the right side. So therefore, yung limit ng h of x as x approaches 0 does not exist. Okay? So proceed naman tayo sa another behavior. Next is unbounded behavior. So dito, kapag i-approach natin yung values of x to a certain value, then yung values ng function ay nag-a-approach to positive infinity or to negative infinity. Ang ibig sabihin nun, yung values ng function nag-i-increase lang or nagde-decrease lang without bound. So for example, we have limit of 1 over x squared as x approaches 0. Okay, so kung itetest natin yan by table of values, let's have x then 1 over x squared. So i-approach natin sa 0 yung x. So let's start with positive, negative 1. Positive or negative 1 since naka-squared naman yan. Same lang yung magiging value niya. Kapag sinubstitute mo to dito, that will be positive 1. Kapag naman babaan pa natin to, i-approach natin sa 0, let's have positive, negative 1 half. Then 1 over positive, negative 1 half squared, magiging 1 over 1 fourth. Tapos tataas yung 4, no? So magiging 4. Okay? Then babaan pa natin, positive negative 1/3. So ito, kapag in-square mo yung 3, magiging 9 tapos aangat, so positive 9. Then positive negative 1/4 magiging 16. Then positive negative 1/5 magiging 25 and so on. So as you can see, habang nag-a-approach yung x sa 0, yung value or yung values ng function natin nag-i-increase siya, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and kapag ilalapit mo pa siya sa 0, mas malapit, mas mag-i-increase yung value ng ating function. Okay? So ibig sabihin, as x approaches 0, yung f of x nag-i-increase siya without bound. Okay? So yun yung gusto kong sabihin dito sa unbounded behavior. So kung gusto niyo makita sa illustration, so i-graph natin, ganito yung magiging itsura niya ng graph niya. Okay, so pag ganyan siya, maakyat. Yan. Okay. So papaakyat siya, nag-a-approach siya dito sa y-axis. Okay, so therefore, kapag ganyan yung behavior ng ating function, unbounded, or nag-i-increase or nagde-decrease without bound as x approaches to a certain value, then yung limit ng function na yon as x approaches 0 does not exist. Okay? So let's have another behavior. Now let's have oscillating behavior. So for example, we have limit sine 1/x as x approaches 0. So dito naman, makikita natin as x approaches to a certain value, let's say 0, yung values ng function ay nag-a-approach sa dalawang numbers. Kumbaga nagpapalitan sila. Okay, sa dalawang numbers. So that is oscillating behavior. So for example, ito nga yung given natin. Kung titingnan natin by table of values, so let's have x and sine 1/x. Simulan natin sa 2/pi. Okay, kapag isa-substitute natin tong 2/pi dito, so sine 1/2/pi, so magiging sine pi over 2 yan. And what is sine pi over 2? That is positive 1. Kung i-approach pa natin to sa 0, let's say 2/3pi, so ito, nag-decrease yung value na ito, so nag-a-approach siya sa 0. Then, kapag isa-substitute natin to dito, magiging sine 3pi over 2 yan, and that is negative 1. Okay? Now, i-approach pa natin sa 0, so let's have 5/pi. So, kapag sinubstitute natin dito, magiging positive 1 kasi sine 5pi over 2 yan. And then, let's have 2/7pi. Pag sinubstitute dito, magiging negative 1. And as you can see, so nagpabalik-balik na lang sa dalawang values yung values ng f of x as x approaches 0. Okay, so let's have x 2/9pi. So kapag isa-substitute natin dito, magiging 9pi over 2 and that is positive 1. Okay, so makikita nyo yung values ng sine 1/x, oscillating siya sa dalawang numbers which is 1 and negative 1. Okay, so kapag ganyan yung behavior na nakita natin sa values ng function as x approaches to a certain number, then yung limit ng sine 1/x does not exist. So x approaches 0. Okay? So yan yung tatlong behaviors na common na nagiging dahilan kung bakit hindi nag-e-exist yung limit ng isang function.